As a graphic designer, it's important to be versatile. At my job and a lot of other jobs, you can't always just come in with a style and be able to do that 100% of the time. So today I'm going to redraw this mid-century modern chair in 3 different styles in Adobe Illustrator. So I found these 3 reference images from Dribbble, and let me reiterate, do not steal from other artists. This is really just for demonstrating. So you can see these are like a minimal line art icon kind of style from this artist. And this one's more of a flat Illustrator vector style with some textures. And these are actually legit 3D elements that this person modeled. They have an example video of using these things and they're all lit beautifully and everything. It's awesome, but I am not a 3D artist, so I'm just going to do these in Illustrator. All right, so this is the chair that I found that I want to figure out how to do it in these 3 different styles. And of course, everybody is gonna have their own style that they're gonna bring to this. So I just wanna show how I would do this in these 3 different styles and try super hard not to just blatantly rip off the other artists, because the whole point of this exercise is just to figure out the versatility of my skills and my style. All right, so the first thing I do when I'm using a reference image is usually select it, lower the opacity to about 60 or 70%, and press Command 2 to lock it. So now this helps me be able to draw directly over the image without worrying about grabbing it and moving it or affecting it in any way. So I'm just gonna turn on a black stroke here and start drawing roughly over these shapes. Now, since I'm making this icon version, I don't necessarily want to include all of this perspective and everything. So I think I'm just gonna start with some solid shapes and just use what is in this image as a reference for how I want these to look. So I'm just gonna draw in a general idea of like a side view, or even just like a weird like 3/4 perspective view of this chair. You can also just start with simple shapes like this rectangle and then grab pieces and move them over to create your intersecting lines. All right, so I'm gonna use this for both sides of the armrest and legs. Then I'm gonna create a flat image for the cushion, and I'm gonna fill this one in with a color. Filling it in helps me layer things and know which layer is on top versus bottom. All right, so since that cuts off, I'm actually gonna use my shape builder tool to go ahead and make that a solid and cut off this little excess piece here. And then I'll actually delete that and copy this version over. So I do want this side to be under the front cushion, so I'm just gonna press Command left bracket to move it back. And then I see that this cushion here actually like goes down below this piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. But I'm also going to curve this side here to kind of create that angle. And I think I might even bring this part in a little bit, but I do want these pieces here to come to the left a little. I'm gonna make sure that they're behind this, but in front of this. And then I'm gonna draw this part of the cushion, which I'm gonna start with another rectangle here. And with my pen tool selected, press Option and click here to curve this path up slightly, and then pull this curve down here. Now it looks like I need to bring this point over so that it matches more up with this line, which is at a slight angle. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for this cushion here, but I'm gonna start at this corner, bring this piece down, send it all the way to the back, and then create a little bit of a angle here with this point, and then pull that curve down to match this side. Now let's go ahead and send this one to the back again, and grab both of these things here and use my shape builder to go ahead and merge that. Now, I mean, that looks pretty awesome already. I mean, I would probably scale this down and make my stroke just a little bit bigger so that it's more of like an icon. And then bam, that's pretty much it. I'm really happy with how that came out. I think if I was gonna change anything, I would extend this part of the armrest out, because it does come out a little bit further on this example here. And It's got like, you know, a unique perspective. Like I really like how these icons are kind of a side view, but almost like a hieroglyphic where it's not like a realistic perspective. And that's pretty much what I was going for here. I think I could probably also make these come out a little bit wider, but you can see that these points got a little bit strange and can easily be fixed by just moving points around. I think that's it for that one, honestly. The icon is typically the most like simple to like actually do, but it's not simple for real. Like it's not an easy thing. Like making a minimal icon that looks really cool and stylized, but still represents the original imagery is a very difficult thing to do. I think I got a little bit lucky because the design of this chair was already really awesome. And I think that helped me get to where I was super, super quickly. All right, moving on to the flat illustration style. So you can see there's already a very similar chair here. I think that's gonna help me out a lot. I'm gonna try to do it without copying that exactly. And I'm gonna do the same thing by starting out with really simple shapes. And I'm just gonna pick some of these like, you know, default swatch colors here. Kind of just do the same thing, except I'm gonna do it in flat colors instead of outlines. Pull these rectangle images that I've created, and let's go ahead and start by making these a little bit more wide. All right, I'm gonna group that, copy it over, holding Command Shift so that it doesn't move. Now, I'm gonna create one piece that's gonna represent the sides of the cushions here. But I'm gonna make it a dark blue and send it behind this armrest here. Let's go ahead and draw another shape that's going to represent the front part of the cushion. Put a lighter blue and send that behind everything except for this guy. And then let's go ahead and move it over so that it lines up. Let's pull these corners to round them off a little bit. I'm gonna round this one again, but it's gonna make that come out. So I'm going to add another blue piece and send it to the back just so that it lines up and gets that top part. Whoa, all right, that's also pretty much it for this style. I mean, it's very, very straightforward, and it's very reminiscent of the first one because I made the shapes very similar, and I think it looks awesome. But I think what I would do in my choice here is take this side view one and actually let's break it apart using the Pathfinder. Okay, so now I have two separate pieces here, and I'm gonna make this one a slightly different color, make it just a little bit lighter. And even though you can't see where it breaks, it's just what I'm picturing here in my head, so I wanna make sure that it comes out the way I want it to. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little armrest piece here, and I'm gonna copy it by pressing Option or Alt on a PC and clicking to drag over. And my smart guides are gonna help me keep it where it needs to be. And I'm going to make this one lighter, and I'm gonna move it behind the first one. So now you get a little bit more depth and 3D just by adding that, and it looks awesome. I'm gonna delete this one so I can group these together and just drag that over here. The same thing by holding Alt and Shift so that it moves over perfectly, and send that to the back. And now I've got a little bit more depth. And then I'm gonna make this one a slightly different color as well so that the two pieces of the cushion are separated from each other. Okay, so the next step on this one is to add some texture. Now you guys may have seen me use these stipple brushes in a previous video. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the same thing. And I'm just gonna draw in with my texture brush, and I'm gonna go ahead and change the blending mode of this to overlay, just so you get this really, really subtle change in texture. I'm putting it under the shape that I want it on. Copy my shape, paste that shape in front. Now hold Shift and select your brush and press Command 7, and it will create a mask in that shape. All right, right, so that's the quick and simple way to add texture to a flat illustration like this. I think it looks awesome and looks completely different from the things that I normally make. Now to do the super 3D looking version here in Illustrator. So for this one, I'm actually going to follow the lines of this a little bit more precisely. I'm not gonna try to make it like super perfect just for the sake of time, but I do think that the closer it is to the real one, the easier the rest of this is gonna be. So now that I've got the basics of this shape done, I'm gonna go ahead and create some new swatches that are gonna be global swatches so that I can use them to create some gradients and reuse those same gradients and make adjustments as I go. I drop a few points from this chair, just some good highlights and shadows in the like mids. Then I'm gonna do the same thing for the wood here, and you can see that I've got 3 colors for each piece. Go into my gradient panel and create a couple of swatches that slide from the lights to darks. So here I'm gonna create this blue gradient, and then I'm gonna add it to my swatches, right? And then I'm going to make another one from the wood colors. Add that one. And okay, so now I have both. All right, so now I'm gonna insert my gradients into my artwork, and I'm just going to try to match them similarly to the way that they grade on this photo. I'm gonna go ahead and delete my stroke because I don't need it for this gradient part. And now you can see that it's going from left to right, but if you press G, you can actually change the direction of your gradient and make it go from top to bottom. Now I can grab this one and eyedrop it and then kind of create the same thing, but if you look closely, it's a little bit brighter, more on the left side here. So I'm gonna change my angle so that it kind of comes this way a little bit. All right, I think that looks really, really good. The last thing that I'm gonna do is add in a couple of more paths to create some of these highlights. So you can see it gets a really bright highlight on some of these corners of this wood. So I do wanna go ahead and add that in. Let's take a break to get a word from our sponsor. Did you sign up for my font giveaway and lose? Are you sad you missed out on the chance to get all 38 of my fonts? Well, have I got a consolation prize for you? That's right, this week only, I'm offering up my total font package for half price. Yep, that's 50% off. Just use the coupon code 50PACK on my website, www.nickqart.com, and the discount will be applied at checkout. But make sure you do it fast because this is only available for a limited time. The coupon code will stop working on Friday, August 12th, 2022. This is your last chance to get all of my fonts in one place at a super discounted rate. Fonts like this one, and this one, and even this one. Do it. So yeah, just adding those extra details I think makes this thing pop a lot more. And you can see it's not exactly 3D, it's not perfectly rendered to be realistic, but I think as far as Illustrator goes, this is a really, really awesome style. It's just enough to fake this for something like an infographic, but maybe not photorealistic enough for an advertisement or something. But either way, I took the challenge of making this chair in 3 different art styles using only Adobe Illustrator, and I'm pretty happy with the results. And if you want to see how I create illustrations in the style that I normally use, watch this video. All right, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for checking out my videos. And like always, we'll catch you on the next one.